man to pork, man to fish, man to stone. In our lifetime, we are discussing this. And we have a president. Mind you, this election that is going to take place, that is the election of 2024, this TrumuTrumu business will be on the ballot. Because as we speak, at least, my candidate, Mr. Alan Chamante, has come out openly to denounce this LGBTQ plus. On various platforms that he has had the opportunity, he has denounced, he has spoken strongly against it. Can we say same of the vice president? What is the position of the vice president? At least he got his people to come and tell us that he didn't support it. So if this one you are not in support, get your people to come and tell us. Why is he silent? So now it's a very dire situation. Look, the sort of things we want to bequeath onto the younger generation, if President Akufo-Addo will be happy that under his watch, LGBTQ people were emboldened to push the agenda, so be it. I agree with Speaker, but that explains why even the national criteria is up to date, has not come to the foundation level. So, Senator, I will not bore you with much because they have already explained the nitty-gritties of where we are. And I want to assure the people of this country that in 2025, when Mr. Alan Chamante has come to power, in any case, those of us on the highway, we know the bill has been passed. So the president can decide not to assent. We dare any man or woman who thinks that he can go ahead and be doing lovey-lovey. They will see the people of this country after them. So he can keep it. But when Alan Chamante assume the reins of governance in 2025, that will be the first assignment. If President Akufo-Addo has not signed, he will quickly and gladly move to where it is and assent onto it, so that our children have given birth to girls. I want them to marry men. I will go and give them to the men. I don't want my girl to come to the house and say, Daddy, I found a love. Who is that love? Stone. Are you mad? That is what President Akufo-Addo wants us to do. I end it here.
Whenever I say my PENDREAM TV there, I see them yopo.
You were till for a PENDREAM TV in Pacho. When him say the news not all from an near the bro. News say Obabeti in Pacho. So what didn't want to Trebia and so what didn't Trefa. News be I present your platform with you for your voice note not for sending it. I was 0277 128 777. You're the 2 PENDREAM FM so Magana for you not on can. Young court T and a story I did bro.
Out. The tussle between the presidency and parliament. Mr. Solomon also conclude for us.
Senator, they have spoken at length. Good morning to Honorable, to my brother who is a chief, incoming president. To the chiefs. To the chiefs.
He has been hiding it.
To the chiefs.
Because I have been going around with my towel and my things. He's today telling me that I'm a chief.
So let me say that it's unfortunate Honorable will not be in Parliament again in the next Parliament, but that should be a big blow to the nation. That the country will lose such a fine brain, and also the fact that the person that came to depose him does not match up, and that is the level, the low that.
But this man was supporting Alan Chamante, and Alan Chamante is not a favored son of the establishment, and consequently they had to get him out.
He doesn't want trouble. He doesn't want to get the wrath of the new patriotic party.
Let's focus.
Join the movement and you'll be free.
Let's focus on today's matter.
Senator, you see, the president, first of all, does not respect the people of this country. You see, we shouldn't take it as disrespecting the clerk of parliament. First of all, parliament is an institution that represents the entire country. The members of parliament represent the entire country. The 275 members of parliament sat down, went through this bill. In fact, when this bill started as a proposal, the memorandum started as proper human sexual rights and Ghanaian family values. It was out of deliberations that they removed the proper to make it human sexual rights, and even removed the Ghanaian because they thought that every law that is passed in this country is for the people of this country, and so there was no need to include the Ghanaian values. Apart from disrespecting the entire country called Ghana, the president does not also respect his own political party, the New Patriotic Party. He does not. And this links to, you remember when the 88 parliamentarians initially, whether it was 80 parliamentarians initially said the finance minister should be putted out. From his own party, he disrespected them, and once again he has done it. Either than that, the president at all material time, if indeed he was against this bill or certain aspects of the bill, he could have called his parliamentarians to brief them on areas that he disagreed, so that at the debate or discussion levels, all his concerns will be incorporated to make it a better law. He sat down for the party to agree that this country aboard TrumuTrumu. You see, if you don't say it in your local parlance, the people we are speaking to will not understand what we are discussing. You understand? So, this is the president. He doesn't respect anybody in this country. He is his own. I am that I am. And interestingly, the people of this country are also looking unconcerned. We have given him that blanket check for him to be doing whatever pleases him. And that is where we are. You see, the president wrote this letter when? This letter is the president's own tone. The executive secretary only acted on his instructions. He didn't have the balls to utter anything. The president drafted it for him and said, write it. If you don't, you are fired. Oh, but that is the president communicating to us. It came from the office of the president. If the president disagreed, he would have called him to order and said, hey, change this, change that. This is the president talking to the Parliament of Ghana by extension, talking to us, that sees and desist from merely transmitting or carrying a bill to my office. I don't even want to see the bill, left alone open and sign. That is the president talking to us. Now you have to link this whole letter to Madame Kristalina Georgieva, the IMF managing director. You know, she was in this country.
Yeah.
Was it last week or this week?
No, this week.
This week.
Yeah.
And drawing the Ministry of Finance position on this whole LGBTQ. And you would understand why the president had to cause this letter to be written on his behalf. They are afraid of the white. The foreigners, when they come and they see them, they are shaking. Remember when Kamala, was it Kamala or Kamara?
Kamala.
Yeah. Kamala Harris came here. All of a sudden, men were women. They started singing like canaries. Another woman comes around, Kristalina. Then there is this letter. We want to appease them. Sana, there is a historical background to this bill, as we all know. And here, as Honorable Inusa mentioned the name of former President Kufuor, let's remember that under the Fourth Republic, we have had 5 presidents. So, on this occasion, I would use the positions of 2 of the presidents from the NDC and the NPP to let's expose the position of President Kufuor. Those that are saying that is not for this LGBTQ, it's a palpable falsehood. The man is fully for it. He supports the idea that there will be TrumuTrumu in this country. And nobody must make the mistake of trying to, as it were, cover up. President Kufuor stated, and I quote, President Kufuor, he will lead us to these abyss that we have been talking about. He said when he was the president, but he is fully in support of this. This letter came from the office of the president. The office of the president includes the vice president's office. So the 2 of them sat down and drafted it and gave it to us to read. So President, yes, President Kufuor, I rejected LGBTQ legislation when I was president because it baffled me. It still baffles me because LGBT practices against our culture, religion, and even defies nature. No law allows such a thing in Ghana. This was President Kufuor. Now let's go to President J.E. Miss. May his soul rest in peace. Remember that young man from the UK, the British Prime Minister, that young David Cameron, had come here to openly open his mouth that he was tying aid, giving us handouts. Even that aid, all the money that they give to this country, they generate it at the embassy. Go to the embassy now. The number of Ghanaians that travel to the UK is enough to bring us aid. No taxpayers' money is sent from the UK to this country. Go to me anywhere. Plus the amount of money they steal from this country. That is the aid they are talking about. So this is Professor Mills. Beautiful. And these are the people that are called leaders. When he was confronted with this issue, this is President Mills speaking. Let me make one thing very clear. No one can deny Prime Minister Cameron his right to make policies, take initiatives, or make statements that reflect his societal norms and ideals, but he does not have the right to direct other sovereign nations as to what they should do, especially where their societal norms and ideals are different from those which exist in Prime Minister Cameron's society. I, as president of this nation, will never initiate or support any attempt to legalize homosexuality in Ghana, aka TrumuTrumu. This is President Mills talking. And in fact, even between President Kufuor's position and President Mills, I salute President Mills' position because it was so clear, emphatic, straight to the point, that there are no ifs and buts in this. And that is the aspirations of the people of this country. Whose rights are we protecting? Are those that are saying it's Richard Sky? And Amanda Odo is saying they have a group of people who are doing this TrumuTrumu business, for which reason they are in court? Or they themselves are active participants in this business? They must let us understand, so that if there are any helps that we can offer to them, we do so. On the 31st of January 2021, remember in 2017 November, President Nana Akufo-Addo had gone on Al Jazeera, as my brother said, to go and reassure the world that LGBTQ or TrumuTrumu was bound to happen in this country, and that the activism, the only reason why this country has not legalized it, was that there wasn't enough activism on the subject matter. And this was in 2017. So on that interview, the president was only giving them a clue, the Western world, a clue as to what to do to get this country to pass or legalize LGBTQ. So what did they do after that interview? The people started gathering. So 31st of January 2021, an advocacy center for the LGBTQ was opened in this country. You remember that incident? And what was so shocking about it was that we had the European Union representative being part of that occasion, we had the Australian ambassador being part, and the Danish ambassador. It was after that event that Ghanaians woke up to reality that, hey, the people have moved the thing a step further. They want to actualize or push government to legalize this whole business of LGBTQ. And that was when Ghanaians woke up. The National House of Chiefs spoke against this, the Christian Council spoke against this, the Chief Imam's office, and so on and so forth. And then we had parliamentarians who decided to help this country. You understand? So, Senator, we have gone through all the difficulties. Petitions were invited. Opinions from all shades of life were invited to make the bill better. Parliamentarians traveled to Hungary, traveled to France to learn about their systems. And we concluded on the 28th of February 2023. It was 2024, just recently. that we pass the law. So what is the president telling us that we should not bring the bill to his office? Why? Why must we not bring it? Because you are expecting some aid. How much have they been giving us? And why must man sleep with man before someone whose brain is working will come to your aid? Man to wood, man to pork, man to fish, man to stone. In our lifetime, we are discussing this. And we have a president. Mind you, this election that is going to take place, that is the election of 2024, this TrumuTrumu business will be on the ballot. Because as we speak, at least, my candidate, Mr. Alan Chamante, has come out openly to denounce this LGBTQ plus. On various platforms that he has had the opportunity, he has denounced, he has spoken strongly against it. Can we say same of the vice president? What is the position of the vice president? At least he got his people to come and tell us that he didn't support it. So if this why you are not in support, get your people to come and tell us. Why is he silent? So now it's a very dire situation. Look, the sort of things we want to bequeath onto the younger generation. If President Akufo-Addo will be happy that under his watch, LGBTQ people were emboldened to push the agenda, so be it. I agree with Speaker Bagwin 100%. And just like Honorable was saying, this Dafia Mapo case was just to expose the absurdity in his decision. He was just telling you that if a notice of injunction was as good as injunction, then I have one here. We see the stupidity in the decision. Notice of injunction is as good as injunction. Seeking for. I have one there, so we can't continue government business. Now, any bill that will go to the president, I'll quickly run to the Supreme Court. And would the Supreme Court be able to handle all these? Where do we want to take this country to? So let's be doing what is right. And here I want to ask the president, who is intimidating him? If there are people, foreigners for that matter, who are intimidating him, he should let us know as a country, so that we fight for him. The Americans have stated their position that they are not for this bill. Are they the ones intimidating him? Because of their aid. The Americans spend more money in the UAE than they do in Ghana. Why are they not forcing the LGBTQ on the people of UAE? But they want to bring it here. Why? So he must come clean. He must come clean. It's a worrying situation that as people of this country, we must not entertain. And this must tell us that when we are voting for people, we must ask them the sort of promises they have made to either their gods or their foreign counterparts. This is a president who came with that mantra, the battle is the Lord's. That no battle that is belonging to the Lord causes anyone to be doing TrumuTrumu. This is the president that says he has a covenant with God to put up a big cathedral, a very big one, to the extent that even the stones to be used are imported from Israel. Were we going to build a cathedral to be doing TrumuTrumu business there? That explains why even the National Cathedral is up to date, has not come to the foundation level. So, Senator, I will not bore you with much because they have already explained the nitty-gritties of where we are. And I want to assure the people of this country that in 2025, when Mr. Alan Chamante has come to power, in any case, those of us on the highway, we know the bill has been passed. So the president can decide not to assent. We dare any man or woman who thinks that he can go ahead and be doing lovey-lovey. They will see the people of this country after them. So he can keep it. But when Alan Chamante assume the reins of governance in 2025. That will be the first assignment. If President Govt has not signed, he will quickly and gladly move to where it is and assent onto it, so that our children have given birth to girls. I want them to marry men. I will go and give them to the men. I don't want my girl to come to the house and say, Daddy, I found a love. Who is that love stone? Are you mad? That is what President Govt wants us to do. I end it here.
Thank you, Mr. Solomon Owusu. Well, since you haven't said much, when after the break, I'll come back and start with you on the IMF matter. This one is John Avogbedo, who says, but the tone of the letter from the president, one can see that the president is too arrogant. The question is, can he write this to the judiciary? Just a quick break. We'll be back. When we come back, we will deal with the matter of the IMF in town. Mr. Owusu hinted that. We'll be right back. Give us a moment.
He has labored, he has suffered to lead his people into the land of freedom. He is the Redeemer. He has labored, he has suffered to lead his people into the land of freedom. He is the Redeemer.
Well, thank you very much for staying tuned to the mother of all talk shows, Alaji and Alaji Live on Pan-African Television. We are live from the studios of Osajifo Dr. Kwame Nkrumah, the Osajifo Dr. Kwame Nkrumah studios of Pan-African Television. We are live, don't forget, we are live on Facebook, Pan-African Television. We are live on YouTube, Pan-African TV. We are also live on Radio Gold 90.5 FM. I'll be acknowledging some of the other stations we are live on across this country. But first, this is Nana Kofi in East Legon, who says, I salute you. Please say a prayer to God every morning for advise you to leave your former position. Many of us were not aware of your powerful level of reasoning and true analysis of issues. You are now looking even more handsome. Cheers, have a good day. Not to you.
It's to you.
No, in fact, the timing of when he sent it means that he was talking to Mr. Solomon Owusu. Yes, I don't know why. This one, Habib Bantu says, good morning. When it comes to LGBTQ plus, I have just one question for Vice President Dr. Bawumia. What's his stance on the LGBTQ plus matter? We want to know he can't remain silent. Dr. Bawumia, you want to lead Ghana and through our norms and values to the dogs. Never. We stand solidly with the Speaker of Parliament. Bravo. This is Stephen Kobnato, who says, if Nanado is mindful of power for what is right, he would accept the bill and write to Parliament why he cannot sign. He can also refer same to the Council of State, but he knows that when it comes back to Parliament about passing same with 2/3 majority, he will be compelled to sign, because at that stage he has no discretion. Nanado knows that the 2/3 majority will be met. He knows that none of the MPs from his side would dare vote against such a bill. As a result, Nanado has resorted to gymnastics. Have a good day and thank you. This is Kojo Chomboafo says, now please inform my brother lawyer Yunusa Husseini that Bibira and sister.
Yes, sir.
Bibira and sister, yeah, that Noah. Akufo-Addo has always been the tyrant. He has now become. The only difference is he is a tyrant with power. Some of us warn against handing him that power. Now let's just enjoy the tyrannical ride. Now this whole brouhaha, to use an Akufo-Addo expression, has arisen from poor grammatical notes. If only some of them at the Jubilee House went to Achimota School, but they didn't pass the entry exam. You know that, right? Also, please, lawyer President Kufuor gained entry to Oxford University the old-fashioned way and pass all his exams. Please compare like for like and not tiger nuts to rocks. That's coming from Kojo Chumbuafo. Okay, this one is from Edem, who says, interesting discussion, I'm enjoying the show. Please ask Honorable Yunusa Husseini if Richard Sky's injunction case at the Supreme Court was served on Parliament not to transmit the bill to the President. I don't know if he has that information. Well, there's also, okay, there's Koblavi Mpokwasi Bengazi, who says, the rampant light-off has brought a big disgrace to Ghana, to other nations. He is thinking about power outages this morning. Okay, so those are some of the messages we're getting. I'll read some more for you as we go along in the show. But first, let me remind you that I still have in studio Alhaji Nusa Hussaini, who is a member of Parliament for Tamale Central, and sitting right by him is former chairman of the People's National Convention, Comrade Bernard Mona, and getting closer to me, Mr. Solomon Owusu, a member of the Movement for Change, and right to my right, we've been looking for him for some time now. It's wonderful to see him again. Honorable Dixon Adomako Kisi, member of Parliament for Anyaso Utom. We have to move on into the matter of the IMF in town. 10 minutes each on this issue. Like I said, I'll start with Mr. Solomon Owusu.
So the IMF, Ghana announced its decision to go to IMF on the 1st of July 2022. At that time, we were told that we had challenges with our balance of payment, for which reason, if we didn't go, the country was going to be in trouble. Like I said in my earlier submission, when the president sees people from foreign land, the way he sings is different from when he's talking to Ghanaians. All of us know that things have not improved. We are where we are. Because at the time of going to the IMF, the cedi to the dollar was 1:10 cedi. $1 was equal to 10 cedi in July 2022. So if you are saying things, you have turned the corner, it means either we maintain the 1:10 or even reduce it from 1:7. But as we speak, the dollar to the cedi is 1:13. So how could you have turned the corner when at the time of going to IMF, the exchange rate was better than today? At the time of going to the IMF, a liter of diesel was going for between 14.59 and the second window was around 13.59. Currently, we are doing the same. It's the same figure we are dealing with. The only indices that you could say has come down has to do with inflation, because in July of 2022, inflation was hovering around 31%, and as we speak, it is within the range of 23.2%. That is also the hardship, the level of hardship has worsened. And the Ghana Statistical Service even makes it worse, that 14.7% of Ghanaians are still unemployed. As we speak, people are home because of this whole IMF program. And you understand that we are having to increase electricity, bring in emission levies and so on and so forth because of the IMF. It wasn't not the IMF going to the IMF that brought in the idea of haircut, where pensioners had to have their monies or investment cut. When we were all in secondary school, we were told that the only guaranteed stocks and bonds were government bonds. The government, under the able leadership of Nana Akufo-Addo and his finance minister, disproved that economic theory to make it a risky investment. So what are we talking about? All projects, major projects, have stalled. You pass through the major roads that had road constructions going on before they going to the IMF, have all stalled. We are not doing anything. And mind you, as we speak, we have not been able to conclude on our external agreements with our creditors. And even as we have not concluded on that, and we are not servicing our external debt, the cedi to the dollar is 1:13. So can you imagine when we begin to service our debt, where the cedi will get us to? What I'm trying to say is that the IMF cannot be a panacea to our development unless and until there is a monumental shift on how this economy is run. Senna, government will go, government will come. Why? Under the NDC, didn't we go to the IMF? Under NPP, we have gone back to the IMF. There was a power crisis between when President Govt took over, when John Mahama came into office, and we are still experiencing power crisis. It tells you that we are not doing something right. And that is why, where we are as a country, we need a leader who would introduce cogent and coherent policies, a leader with a plan, and not to rely fully on our manifestos, which are only a set of promises. We must focus on areas that would lead to massive productivity in this country. We have a massive or huge potential in the agriculture sector. What are we doing to improve it? How are we going to reduce input costs or cost of production in the agriculture sector? What are we doing to reduce our interest rate? Before the IMF came, or we went to the IMF, interest rate was around 27%. With still, and as the policy rate was around 27%. With the IMF, we are 29%. So how can there be an improved situation? The president must be truthful to the good people of this country. Once we know the problems and we are adjusting, it becomes very easy for all of us, and not to be pleasing this busy for nothing IMF, whose interest is only to serve the Western world and impoverish Africa. Remember, the day Africa will be liberated, we have all the raw materials. We have all the raw materials, but we are not harnessing these all raw materials to its full potential. We are only exporting them in a raw form to serve these Western economies. And that is the interest of the IMF. For them, they would always give you facilities that will tie your hands and not to grow. The program that we entered to, the 5-year program, how is it going to lead to the growth of the economy? A program that is only causing you to be increasing taxes. When the government came to power at the back of we are moving from taxation to production, you enter into a program that will rather let you tax your people the more. So it's not an encouraging situation, and I want to say that future government, particularly Mr. Lanchemante's government, must focus on homegrown policies, judicious use of our resources. There is no need for you to go and invest heavily in projects that will not benefit the Ghanaian directly. I understand the National Health Insurance organization wants to go and invest as much as 240 million or so in printing Ghana cards. How is that going to benefit us? It's chop. This is how we spend our monies, and we end up going back to the IMF. This money could be made available at cheap interest rate to businesses to expand production. Once businesses are producing and they are engaging the services of Ghanaians, these Ghanaians will have money to give to their wards to be doing this Ghana card. It's not your business to be printing them Ghana cards. And once we don't get people who think about this country, but rather I always think about their pockets, you have some of these decisions. I'll end it here.
Thank you. Before I go to
Whenever I say my PENDREAM TV there, I see them yopo.
You were till for a PENDREAM TV in Pacho. When him say the news not all from an the bro. News say Obabeti in Pacho. So what when one drink Trebia and as what drink Trefa. News be I present your platform with you for your voice note not for sending it. I was 0277 128 777. The debate 2 PENDREAM FM so Magana for you not on. Young call Nyanko T and a story I the bro.